What's up, everyone? This is BigPowner, and today I'm going to teach you the easiest way to make a really good despair curse ring. Um, this could be for any chaos build, but specifically I'm crafting it for the toxic rain build. My suggestion with the crafting this league, this is kind of a general thing. Well, two general things. The first one is everything that you're trying to craft an item for, you should probably get two bases. And why is that? Because you can keep and use your best one, and then you can continue to craft to try to make a better one. The reason why is because like we can't store up like a ton of crafts. We only have 10 spaces. So like even if you had 10 of all the right craft, there's a good chance that you might not be able to get that. Um, More advice on that, make sure that you have stuff as far as like the gambles and stuff like that inside of the harvest so that you can capitalize when your harvest does show up for you. The other key thing that I'm going to say is like right now I'm in New Vastiri because I'm just, I want to complete everything on my atlas, but like getting harvest in this zone, like it sucks. Like first of all, I didn't get very many spawns, but then the other thing is like the mods are just like crap. Like I don't get a single Exalt Slam, and I'm kind of spoiled because I've been spawning them in Haywark Hamlet. Like Haywark Hamlet is like super OP. The plants harvested in areas give the rarest of two chosen craft options. Every time I'm in this area, I get an Exalt craft. So if you're trying to upgrade your gear, that's the spot you want to be. I still am going to make the video in this area, but I have to have extra stuff in order to do it because I don't even have the. I only have one caster slam. So exactly my point. I have my good one here. There's crafts that I need to do to fix this one, and I'll let you guys know what crafts to look for once you get the bottom right, which like this would be my bottom is right. I need the attributes, and all resistance is dope. And the tier 1 curse effect. The top sucks though. I've got crafted on life, reduced reflected, energy shield. Like that's just crap up there. What I want to get up there is a high number to number, like ideally tier 1 number life, and then I want to craft reduced mana cost because eventually I'd like to have close to no mana cost on this build, so I have to get very specific things, but with harvest eventually I'll be able to reach that place where I have that. So this is the initial part of this craft is really easy. Let me bring up, show you why we're using what it is that we're using. One second, I'm bringing it up. um, Turn that on. Okay, so we're using the Hunter base. I've chosen Vermilion Ring because I'm trying to stack a ton of life. Like on the rings, there's not like there's like certain places where it's best to get like the HP, like stack a ton of HP. Like I released the belt because like our only damage options there are like percent damage, which isn't very good. We want to get damage on our multiplier stats, where we can get attack speed, stuff like that. The ring, the implicit, I could go for like resistance there. It'd be an easy place to get resistance, but I'm probably gonna stat cow resistance on my helm just because there's not like great options there. So as far as this build, that's kind of what I'm doing. And at 7% life on an implicit on a ring, I feel like that's the strongest implicit. So Vermilion Ring, you can pick what base you need. If you need like resistances, two stone's not a bad choice. So anyways, we're going with a hunter influence because that's the only place we can get curse on hit. This is going to open up our flasks. That's the reason why we want to do this. Plus, like the Witchfire is great early when you can't make something like this or you can't afford something like this, because it does give a level 21 despair, which is much stronger. This despair effect is the equivalent to a level 12, the higher tier one, um, of the two mods. So the reason why this is actually really easy to craft with harvest, and this is the only way that I would suggest actually going about it, just because it is so easy, and this is the reason why. So we have these two things are caster tagged. The only other thing that is caster tagged is casting speed. So we only have a pool of 3 different things that we can get, one of them being the thing that we want. Cast speed is an 800 stat. These are 800 stats, so technically we've got 1600, 25% chance of hitting what it is that we want, but that's really good. So we'll first just use this one, and it's kind of just basically going to be one of those spam type things. So I brought myself some orbs of scouring. So I roll this. I wind up hitting the elemental weakness, so that is a no go. I've got 4 more tries. I just have to use scours. I hit elemental weakness again. There we go. I hit the despair, and slightly better than what the average amount of tries that it would take. I also ended up getting pretty lucky, and I got a tier 1 dexterity, and I got regen, 2 things that are useful for the build. So I could go ahead and be like, all right, now I'm gonna go and craft life on this, and this would be something that I could use. Um, so at that point, if that's my best one, then I would put it on. And then I would move to my next thing, which it's not my best one as far as my build. Um, but yeah, it's pretty much that simple. The next thing is if your top is really bad but the bottom is really nice. There's another way. I don't have the craft up, but I have an example. We have okay, so this would be an example. I have the prefix one. It's keep reforge an item with lucky modifier values, keeping all prefixes. There's another one that's reforge a rare item with lucky modifier values, keeping all suffixes. So that's a way that you can re-roll. If you get the bottom right, then that's a way that if the top is just all bad, that's probably going to be the best way to get it to a decent place to start out. If you have it like empty on the top, or if you have one open space in the bottom where you can do suffixes cannot be changed, then you could scour it to just give you a clean crafting slate. um, but that's going to be a good way to kind of like spam it. These aren't too rare. I've seen them quite a bit in Haywark Hamlet, so that's the reason why I'm kind of like pointing you towards this way, because it seems to me like it's going to be a lot harder to find the specific annuls, like find tons of specific annuls. Um, I would suggest trying to do that until you get it down to maybe like one thing you want to remove and something else good is on there, so that then you can use a specific annul to remove one thing. That's what I'm kind of planning on doing, because I have a lot of gear that I'm trying to craft, and using like 2 or 3 removals on one thing and then having to use 2 or 3 slams. I feel like that's going to take way longer as opposed to using those reroll tops. Also, it gives lucky. You can get the lucky value ones, which could wind up giving you something really nice. And the stuff that we want up there um, is fairly common stats, so we've got we've got a decent chance of actually hitting something good up there. There's not really much that we're wanting here besides this. The life on hit is the other thing that's probably my top choice. My top choice for this ring would be to have this big life on hit, and then to have number to number HP, and then to craft on reduced mana cost. So that's like my ideal ring. Not super picky on the bottom, besides having the tier 1 despair curse, because I kind of have to fill in. The reason why I like that all res on the one that I have is because I got to fill in my resistances somewhere, and there's not really. I mean, I could go for like attack speed, wouldn't be bad down there. But there's not really much on the ring that's like super powerful for the build. Like I said, our main sources of damage are attack speed and multiplier and gem skill levels. So I don't want to be trying to get those stats on pieces that I can get those stronger damage stats for, which would be like quiver, necklace, gloves, because like even though this has attack speed, for instance, this maxes out at 7%. On the quiver, it's 13%. On the gloves, it's 16%. Um, the all three of those have multipliers, like so, kind of plot your stats or your ideal stats on the pieces of gear where it's going to be the most beneficial to have those stats on them. Anyways, this is my guide on how to make yourself a dope despair ring. Thanks for watching. Peace.